Welcome to this T49 replay and a little bit of a mini review. I've not been able to get the ace tanker in this tank yet. Best I've done is first class, and this is a first class replay as well. But I really wanted to do a little bit of a review of it and just say that I really quite like this little scout tank. Although, I mean, as a scout, it's more a multifunctional, little annoying thing rather than a dedicated scout. The view range is quite alright, but due to its size, it gets spotted quite easily. Luckily for me in this match, I was able to get to this bush without being spotted first. Had the enemy had competent scouts, I would have been dead, but luckily they weren't competent, so here I'm spot killing this little guy. But back to the T49. Obviously, being a light tank, it has got no armor, so no need to talk about that. And it's got two guns. One of them is quite a nice 90mm gun, but the problem is that it doesn't have AP ammo. It has basically three useless shell types, which are completely irrelevant on the tier that this tank can face. So the first choice for everyone will and should be the 152mm derp gun. The advantage of that gun is that even though if you do not penetrate the enemy, you still do damage. On average, I've noticed you do about 300 damage if you don't penetrate the enemy, and you can do up to something like 800, 900 if you do. I've mostly got HE loaded because the heat, which is not premium by the way, it's a regular heat ammo, but it only has 150 average penetration, which is not enough to reliably go through most stuff you encounter unless you get behind them. So what I usually do is I fire the HE all the way up to the point where I just go around and shoot enemies in the ass, going behind them. So you just see me doing passive spotting at the moment, because my mission was to spot kill enemies. So yeah, I got this map and I thought, heck, why not? But as I said, the 152mm derp should be the gun you're using, but get used to the fact that this gun trolls you as much as it does the enemy, because it has a habit of completely missing if you're not fully aimed, and not only at long range but also pretty much at point blank range. I've had multiple instances where I'm pretty much parked up against an E100. My gun isn't fully aimed, but I fire and the shell just goes somewhere over the tank. So as long as you're willing to live with that, it is actually a fun tank to drive in my opinion. It's one, well, it is actually at the moment my stress relief tank, together with the Comet, but this is just more fun, because of the derp gun, basically. But back before Wargaming hit all the scouts with the nerf bat, the VK2801 was actually my favorite stress relief vehicle, and a favorite vehicle of mine for quite a while, back when the heat penetration on it was 150. Because I had the luck of getting into fairly low tier battles with it as well. So I would just race around and shoot people with the heat ammo all the time. Even if you had to get behind them, that was no problem in that thing, and you could just ram other scouts to death. So I was really sad when they nerfed that tank, and I haven't had as much fun in the light tank until I got this one, really. As I said, it's frustrating to play when you're playing sometimes, but it's just a blast having this gun and having quite nice mobility actually, for such a big light tank. You don't have any armor though, and you basically have no weight whatsoever, so anything you ram will basically damage you, which I've had the misfortune of doing myself a couple of times, getting me killed. But yeah, I mean, it's just a fun tank to play. At the moment I'm just being careful because there's two TDs on my right, but they don't see me, and I'm just trying to get this stupid CDC killed because he's basically preventing my whole team from moving up. So I'm just seeing, but apparently no one wants to kill him or can kill him, so I'll just put a shot into him, but I have to make sure that it hits and preferably that he's behind cover. So put a shot into his side, but unfortunately I do get spotted because the E100 poked up. So I'm pulling back and using this guy as sort of a cover. But I received no fire, so it's time to move up again. As you see on an armored tank, this gun can do so much damage. It's just really funny. But yeah, this E100 will be a bit more of a problem, and as you can see, not fully aimed shot. Even, I mean, the range was pretty far, but not even close, just misses. So this thing is best used either at extreme range where you don't get detected when firing, or really up close where you basically just derp them in the face, and you still need to let it aim though. But like this shot, it hits, so only does 199 damage, but then again it's an E100, so was to be expected, and we're just waiting for the E100 to be killed, and then we're moving in onto that Jagdpanzer. He pulls back, I'm just keeping him spotted, or waiting for the T71 to spot him, and he does, so put another big hit in, or relatively big, and then just wait for him to be killed. And there we go. So now we've got one lonely Jagdpanzer E100 over there. He's on pretty much full health though, so yeah, he is on full health. So he is dangerous, but you gain nothing from sniping at range such an enemy. So I'm just moving in. I know there's RT, so I'll have to keep moving. The waffle isn't here, otherwise he would have fired already. So I'm just taking my time getting behind this guy. But the HE flies through, but unfortunately the penetration is so dreadful that it doesn't actually penetrate the tank. I should have actually loaded heat already here, but I just pressed the preload key for the heat if I needed another shot. As you can see, the RT fired on me, but now we've got him and time to move. So in situations like this, as you can see, it's quite a lot of fun to just herp the people at point blank range, but it can also do quite a lot of damage even with the heat ammo. I've got it loaded here. I'm not going to waste it on an IS-7, but I will waste it on that waffle tractor E100 when I see him. He is my aim, or the RT at this point. The AMX-50, not so much. It has got more armor than expected, especially for this heat ammo. So I prefer to shoot it in a big boxy tank that hasn't got any armor. So we're just moving up. I'm telling team not to cap. You always have a couple of funny guys that try to cap in this situation like this, but it's really not needed. So I'm just trying to spot the waffle tractor E100, but spotting mechanics being as they are in this game. He's right there in front of me, but obviously he doesn't get spotted. Now he does. I mean, yeah, perfect alignment with the bush, but really, so just waiting and then casually pumping 750 damage into him as a tier 8 light tank in one shot. And now we just need to find the RT, but if I may be so kind, I can really recommend the T49 to people, especially who like dirt play, but also people who like light tanks but need a vehicle that is a light tank but a more stress relieving tank. I really like the whole line, to be honest. Bulldog was one of the high points definitely, but this tank is more fun, and I'm still hoping for Wargaming to buff the aim time at least, or the dispersion when turning the turret. But yeah, definitely a recommendation by me. Hope you enjoyed the replay, and if you did, please feel free to subscribe or rate it, and see you next time.